Okay, that's sorry. Raising my hand or yeah, let's look into some simpler things that you can grapple on. Which one is longer? Coaching longer or feedback longer? Coaching longer. Which one will provide solution? Coaching provides solution or feedback provides solution? Feedback will provide solution, right? So feedback can also ask questions. Doesn't mean that feedback is only just a solution. So feedback can be directly and say, this won't work, this is how you should do it. You can do that in feedback. Right? Coaching is, well, this thing. How do you know if it will work? Can you find out a better solution? That's coaching. Feedback is, it won't work, I tell you what will work. Right? So that's different. Yes? Feedback can also be two ways. It's just that feedback, there is a more emphasis on telling people what should be done. Right? There will be feedback sometimes can have a bit more of advice. This is the situation as it is. It's not going to work because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons. This is what you should do. Right? So when I'm giving the reasons why it should not work, I'm also not giving a solution yet, but I'm giving advice on what is the situation. Whereas coaching is, oh, so this does not seem to be working. Why do you think it doesn't work? What are some of the impediments? What are some of the obstacles you face? Coaching is, I want you to search for your solution. Feedback is, I got no time, so I tell you that this is a situation.
Okay, I do coach or give feedback.
Okay. You can, well, it doesn't have to go into a formal process of when to coach, when to feedback. You can mix coach and feedback if it's appropriate. So back to the question as in, ask this question, right? It doesn't seem to be working. Where do you think the problems are? And then the guy says, I don't know. Right? Okay, could it be this or this? And the guy says, I don't know. So everything you ask is like, you don't know. Okay, fine. I'll switch to feedback. Right? And this is what I observed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? I got my observation, I give you an advice, this is what happened. So given this what happened, I can switch back to coaching. Given this is what happened, what do you think you can do next? Right? I can go back to coaching mode and say, what do you think you can do next? And that can be a next step action. But if let's say the person says, I still don't know. Fine. I go into feedback and say, this is what you should do.
So can I assume that at all times you try to coach, but when you can't coach, then you do feedback?
You can, in a way, you can use that as a rough gauge, as in, how you can switch between coaching and feedback. Yeah. Or it can be coaching may take a longer time, and right now I really don't have time. Right? Things like, let's say if this building is on fire, right? The fire alarms and this building is on fire, you want to give instructions or give coaching? Yeah. So it depends also on the situation. So if it's something that's urgent, it's very clear, and it's not the time for the person to learn and reflect and think about it, we do that. Right? Again, we are not saying coaching is a useful tool for if you want to develop a person, get the person to do more reflection, and hopefully they can think for themselves in the future. That is great. But at the same time, not every situation is a coaching situation. It doesn't mean you learn coaching and everything you apply coaching. It doesn't work that way, right? There's a time to coach, there's time not to coach. That's one. But the other thing is also the maturity of the other person. If the person is very immature, both psychologically, both in terms of skills, everything is immature, then you might just as well start with direct feedback. Yeah, so these are differences. It's just that in the context, if you are looking at multi-generational employees to motivate them, both the older ones and the young ones, you may want to use coaching as a means to find out what they think, and then see how they can work in a different way to deliver your objectives. Right? Which is, I'm just using the coaching for that tool. If it doesn't work in that scenario, you feedback. Right? We are not saying you should do one, not the other. You can do a combination. You can do whichever one that seems to work better. we are concerned is sometimes as managers we tend to give too much instructions, right? Where in some cases their inputs can get better committed. That's the only what they call perspective that we are trying to invest in. Okay? So that's just explain some reasons why. So, and feedback, and although yes, feedback can be more advised and more instructional, feedback can be two kinds of feedback. One is developmental and one is evaluative. Right? What is development? Any idea from these two English words? Any idea what is the difference? Evaluative and developmental. Let's use an easier word now. What is evaluative feedback?
I guess evaluative would focus on individual past performance.
Okay, past performance.
Factors of
What about the performance?
the gaps in performance.
Yes.
The ability to manage times, manage projects,
Right.
disciplines,
Sure. Okay.
teamwork,
Sure.
the ability to understand.
Okay, we're going into a bit more developmental already. Evaluative, very simple. You've done something, past performance, you've done something, good or no good. Right? It's called evaluative. You're making an evaluation. So evaluative feedback doesn't mean it must be bad. It can be good. Right? You did a project and everything all passed. So it's evaluative or everything all passed, all on time, quality, made, and that's good. Or some parts good, some parts bad, and you just tell them what are the good, what are the bad. So you're doing an evaluation. That's what it's called, evaluative. Right? Or you produce a new product. Is it up to the customer's specifications? Is it, do we do it in the right time? Do we utilize the right amount of resources? So these are things that we evaluate on different metrics and see what are the good, what are the bad. That's evaluative. Developmental is whatever is the level now, how can we do it even better? It's called development. Right? How you can be better. So it can be development feedback. I can go into some coaching again, how you can be better, or I can just tell you, when you're doing this, you did not watch time enough. You did not control your time enough. Right? Maybe you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to control the time. So I give suggestions. Or I can use it in a more coaching way, as in, when you're doing this, your time management is not strong enough. What do you think you can do to manage your time better? I can do both. I can tell you what to do. I can also ask you what you can do to make time better. So developmental is just a thing about what ways you can do better the next time. Evaluative is up to now, based on your past performance, what is good and what is not so good. Make sense? Right? Again, both are equally important. So it's just to let you know that there are different aspects of feedback. Okay, so, you hire a new employee on first impression. He seems to be smart and knows the job well. In the initial new employee training, he also performed very well. After 3 months on the job, he has not performed to expectations yet. Nice guy, smart, knows the job well, initial training, also performed well, but 3 months on the job, has not performed to expectations yet. Share your expectations. Well, okay, I want you to do this and this. Sorry? Oh, list the areas. Okay. What these are things that you have not meet the expectation. And then, okay, that's very good. This is what we call evaluative feedback, right? You have not met my expectations. Sometimes the problem with evaluative feedback, sort of feedback, is how we do it. People doing evaluative feedback, you have not met my expectations. You need to again be very specific. You cannot just tell the person, you did not meet my expectations. The person will ask you, which expectations? Right? You've got to be specific as into what needs to be done and it's not done the right way yet. So you better be specific. And then what? Okay, so you list down. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You did not meet the expectations. We want you to do this, you only deliver this. Okay, so I tell them. And then, what else can we do? Okay, can I have action plan? Anything else? Once that is done, you can either choose to go coding or you can choose to go feedback. Right? I can say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is not met your expectations, this is specifically what you have not done. If I feel that this person is mature, is smart, is creative, then I ask, what you can do, what do you think you can do to improve on this 5 criteria? Talk about options. Okay, what is your next step action plan? Can I ask you to be accountable and I want to see improvements on these actions that you have mentioned? So there's action plan and I can review next time, so it's coaching. Or if I find that this person really immature, so okay, no choice, I have to give feedback. Then I'll say that these are the things that did not improve. I will give a few options. What do you think you want to do next? Right? Or I can give an action plan and get the person to follow through. So it really depends on the maturity of the person. So these are some of the things that to do if you want to give feedback. Some of the tips. Number 1, what we mentioned earlier, very good. What is your expectations? What are the gaps? Can you be specific? And coolly states the fact. What do you mean by coolly states the fact? Don't be what? What is the opposite of cool? Emotional. Because again, sometimes manager, you're very frustrated, you're very angry why this person cannot do the job. Right? So you want to give feedback, hold back the emotion first. State the facts. You are there to improve the performance of the team member. You are not there to make your team members suffer. Right? Because you're angry, you want to vent out your anger, and then you want to make your team members suffer. That's not the purpose. Your purpose is whatever you do, be angry or not be angry, the ultimate goal is to improve performance. That is your goal as manager, right? So it's cool instead of bad, so you don't get emotional yet. Number 2, don't blame the person yet. So again, don't ask the person, why did you do this, why did you do that, why are you so stupid? Right? So not to blame that person first. Avoid the blaming part. Look for roadblocks, anything that will block the road, and also manage the expectations. So some examples, so fully state facts. So this is say someone has been forwarding samples, right? Samples are for customers and someone forwarding samples. So I fully state the facts. I see you holding on to a lot of product samples even when others don't have that. Why do you not say many product samples? What? So same thing here is you don't want to angrily confront them. Hey, why you hold so much samples? Why you want to get for? Why you so like that? Why you so inconsiderate? So you don't blame anything. Fully state the facts. But I'm not holding anything against you. I just want to find out if that's a better way to distribute the sample. Right? Because ultimately, if I blame you and then you become defensive, the bottom line is what? No one else gets the sample. I want to see what are the better ways to better distribute the samples so that you get your samples, we get our samples, everybody's happy. Right? So this is our objective, or my objective. So I'm not one blame. I'm not blaming you. Just want to find out is there a better way to distribute the samples. Roadblock is that now is there anything that you have in mind that is going to prevent us from moving forward productively? Meaning, is there anything you have against me, or is there anything that you don't feel like working with us? Right. So if you are working with this fellow employee, is there anything on your mind that you find that is preventing you from working productively? Look for different roadblocks, and whatever is the issue. I just want to say I appreciate you to take the time to talk with the assistants with the issue. Right. The expectation is I'm not blaming you, I'm just looking at what are the ways to come to a solution. That's the expectation. So sometimes our employees feel that every time the boss talks to them is to scold them. Right? So sometimes employees get this mindset. So what we want to do is in this situation is we talk to them to solve the problem. Right? I'm not holding anything against you. I'm not making any judgment to you. This is a situation, these are the facts, I'm not blaming you. I'm looking at, is there something that's preventing you from working well together? And the expectation is, I just want to solve the problem, right? We're not holding anything against you. Just let us solve the problem together. Manage expectation.
What if, when you look for roadblocks, he or she lives down, let's say, 10 of them. So,
Okay.
so are we supposed to go through stop one or what is expected?
Right. Depending on the kinds of roadblocks, right? Let's say maybe the issue is not with you as a manager. Maybe the issue is Bob and someone else has got a fight and somehow they don't like to work with each other. Right? So Bob says, "No, I just cannot stand the other guy. I could not work with him, and I don't want to share my samples with him in the room." And you can ask Bob back and say that, why is that such a big issue for you? I do understand that you feel very emotional about the whole issue, but can you let me understand why is it such a big issue for you? Right? So one of two is ultimately, yes, there are certain issues, certain challenges you face that that's someone else. But what we would like to understand is that something that we can still work together for the benefit of the company? So to find out if to work around or clear the roadblock. Right.
Example, you did mention a little bit of yesterday,
Yeah.
if it involves rules or laws,
Yeah.
that change everything.
Sure.
But let's say that is one of the rules.
Yeah.
So that I cannot do anything also, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I just listen.
Mhm.
What is the best advice to give? I mean, because let's say in the negara, there are new rules being reviewed, new rules being implemented.
Yeah.
And sometimes, while the intention is good, the communication between the policy maker
Yes.
and the implementer, okay,
Yeah.
is not that good.
Yes.
So meaning that these the implementer normally will argue, will question why they make rules like that.
Yes.
Whatever their rules has spilled over in fact, more works for me, whatever.
Yeah.
So you cannot do anything, right?
Yes.
It is agreed by management, got to be implemented. What is
Sure.
the best response that I should give?
Okay, so one is to empathize with the other person. I understand that this is causing a lot of inconvenience. Number two is sometimes it's to seek their understanding. It does cause inconvenience for you. It also causes inconvenience to me. Why do you think management create this new rule? Right. So there are inconveniences, but also do think on behalf of management. Why the new rule existed? Maybe it's not a perfect rule. Maybe there are flaws in the rule, but what is the intention? Right? Maybe there are good intentions, but it's just the rule is not very good in making sure that everybody's happy. So if you know that's the intention and it's causing you some inconvenience, what will be some of your feedback to management that you can amend the rule? Right? Because you need to understand what is the intention of management first. The goal of management is to do something, that's why we got this new rule. The rule is being set in a way that it may not be fair or nice to everybody, but the rule serves intention. So if you want to have a counter suggestion, it has to serve the goal first. Right? Will management listen to you? Maybe, maybe not. You can raise it up. Will it take immediate action? Probably not. but it's something to form as a feedback and say that if there could be a future discussion. Right, so it's something to turn around. But at the very least, what we want to do is to seek understanding from all parties. It's not a good rule. It's an inconvenient one. It causes a lot of various issues. But what is intention? Right? So if you understand the management's intention, then it sometimes allows people to be less angry, be less frustrated. Yeah. So that's something to see. And again, it's also to manage expectation as well. So a very good example actually. So you can say that what is management intention? And if you have a better suggestions, we can suggest back to management and see if they want to review the rule and refine it better. So the manage expectation part is to say that we can't change anything now, but we can do a feedback. Right? Hopefully it does lead to a future change. Yeah, make sense? So yeah, it's just to find. And also, there will be employees, especially younger generation. So young people tend to be more idealists, right? Of all generations, younger people tend to be more idealists. Everything must be perfect. And the real world is nothing is perfect in the real world. So sometimes it's also to manage their expectations by saying that, if you were to work somewhere else, do you think that you will also face similar issues? It's not a perfect world. I mean, our company is not perfect. The place you are working is not perfect. Actually, wherever you go, nothing is perfect. Same, right? So if it's going to be same, it's like, yeah, you are angry. I can understand why you're angry, and understandably so. It's just something that is part and parcel of life. Wherever you go, it's the same thing. Even if you want to set up your own company, you are the boss, nothing will be perfect. It's going to be that way anyway. So you can complain about it. If the purpose of complaining is to let out some steam, ventilate your anger, ventilate your frustration, fine, it's okay. Everyone can let out steam and complain about things. It's okay. On the other hand, once you're done venting all your frustrations, we still have to do work. Right? So that's life. Right? So it's also managed with expectations. It's part of life. Nothing is perfect. You can even ask a person to think about, when you will study, are all the rules fair? I would say mostly are fair, but there are certain things that are fair. Is everything that happens in the school perfect? Nothing is ever perfect. So it happens in school, it happens in life, nothing is ever perfect. So this is the way it is. If there are certain things that we can do something to change, we'll see what we can do to try to change. If there are certain things that we cannot change for the moment, then we just have to do it and see if there are changes in the future. So it's just to get to realize that this is life, this is work. We're not saying that we just accept whatever it is. We will still do things to try to change. And there are certain things that cannot be changed that quickly. It's just a fact of life. And manage their expectations as well. And that goes into the people who are very negative as well. So sometimes people are negative not because they are negative by nature. Sometimes there are people who like to challenge everything. Right? There are people like they're in their 20s, but they behave like a teenager. Behave teenager like, you're a teenager, everything you want to rebel. For nothing, you just want to rebel. You just want to prove you're right. You're wrong. Teenager thinking. There are people like that, and sometimes use feedback instead of coaching because they have shown that they are not mature enough. Right? So you don't do coaching anymore, you just do feedback. And just say that, I understand that you hate it here, you hate some rules here. If you were to change jobs, would it be the same? If you move somewhere else, I'm not saying that you should move somewhere else, I'm just saying, if you were to change to a different company, change to a different boss, change the working environment, would that also be some issues that you have to fix? I understand you don't want to do OT burn weekends, right? But if you're an engineer doing a project, are there projects that you will never ever need to do OT or burn weekends for all the projects? Maybe some projects we don't have to, but majority, we have to. It's a fact of life, right? I understand that you don't like it, and a lot of us don't like it also. But what we can do, managing expectations, is are there ways that you can suggest or we can put together to find out how we can minimize, right, the various inconveniences, right? And we can be open to that. So that allows, we relate to the teenager part of that person who is an adult already, but still very teenager. And also shifting to something that, okay, now that you are an adult, you're a working adult, let's do what adults do, see if there are ways that we can improve the situation. That's something we can let people think about. And again, being a manager, on the one hand, yes, we want to be understanding, we want to be empathetic, we like to engage our team. On the other hand, it doesn't mean that we should always be very nice. It doesn't mean that everything you bend over backwards for people, everything you are trying to appease them and then trying to make them happy. Sometimes making them understanding, making them understand the whole situation is better than making them happy. Right? So some people is just they are just thinking from their point of view, right? I'm a selfish person only, or self-centered person. I'm thinking from my point of view. What if have you considered about the whole situation? Have you considered about company's interests? Have you considered about your entire team? Right? If that is the scenario, or if that is the situation, what would you have done? And sometimes you can even do a role reversal. Hey, I understand you hate this, all this, but think about this. If you were in my position, what would you do? Right? If you want to be a manager, and I think you will be manager sooner or later, so you're going to be manager soon, maybe in a few years to come. So if you're in this particular position, and you've got a whole team like this who have different needs and requirements and complaints, what would you do in this situation? And get them to see from your perspective as well. Make sense? So, better example, don't please, why are you always attacking my employees as best to others? It makes me feel angry when you do that. It all makes us feel bad. Don't just plead to them. Don't attack them. What's wrong with you? So we are not saying feedback is to find fault with others. It's just to frankly just go into some of the specific issues and manage the expectations. Giving feedback, biggest reason why people won't change their behavior is that they're spending more energy defending themselves and their current positions, and they're not listening to what we have to say. People tend to be defensive, which is why the Chinese, there's a big Chinese paragraph that we left out. We should have taken the whole thing out. Sometimes we face people who are overly defensive. And again, that's why we ask questions to use coaching again. If you are defensive, fine. Tell us why are you feeling that way? What's making you frustrated? What do you think could be a solution? Right? We don't want to dwell on the past. Questions about giving feedback? Feedback? Right, if not, this is what we'll do. We can break slightly earlier for lunch. It's now 12:45. Is it okay that we can also come back a little bit earlier and then we can finish a little bit earlier? Yeah, so it's close to 12:50, so we come at 12:50 and we are back by 1:50. Can do? Yeah, okay, right, so